There are many methods on how to make a beet chip, but which one of these methods is the best? Well, today we're going to find out. The two main methods we will be testing today is the air fryer versus the oven. However, when it comes to both methods, there's a school of thought that suggests pre-cooking the beets prior to baking or frying is better than baking or frying the beets raw. But there's only one way to find out which is best. So let's begin. Start by pouring out about 1 cup of white distilled vinegar into a bowl. Use this to help remove unwanted beet stains on your fingers and cutting board. You can thank me later. I'm using two varieties of beets. We have our classic garden beet on the left and the golden beet on the right. First thing to do is wash off the dirt and sand from your beets. As you can see here, these things are pretty filthy, so take your time and get your beets squeaky clean. Once bath time is over, it's time to prep. Let me show you what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do is chop off the leafy end here, but we're not gonna chop off all of it. We're gonna leave a little bit so we can hold on to it when we're using our mandoline. I find that really useful. So just go ahead and chop it like that. And then what we're gonna do is chop off just a tip here, because when you put it in the mandoline, you're not gonna use that piece anyway. It's gonna be too small. So we're just gonna chop like so. And what you're left with is this perfect little beet. Now that your beets are prepped, we're going to peel the beets using a vegetable peeler. If you're cooking the beets, you could use a paper towel as seen here to remove the skin, but in my opinion, it's a lot easier to peel them with a vegetable peeler. Okay, so at this point, we have our prepped beets, those which are peeled, those which are unpeeled. The ones that are peeled, we're going to slice on the mandoline. The ones that are unpeeled, we're going to put in the Instant Pot for approximately 5 minutes, depending on the size of your beet, and then release the pressure manually. We'll see in a bit. To cook the beets using an Instant Pot, first put the metal trivet in place. Pour in 1 cup of water and place your beets on the trivet. Cook on high pressure for 5 minutes. The beets should be tender when forked, but not completely cooked through. Now, regardless of the method, the beets will need to be cut into uniform slices. The best way to accomplish this, of course, is with a mandoline. We'll talk more in depth about the thickness of the beets a little later on. Once your beets are sliced, sandwich them in between 2 pieces of paper towel to pat them dry. Water is the enemy here, so don't skip this step. Once dry, spray the chips on both sides with cooking oil. I'm using avocado oil, but cooking spray or olive oil would also work. Once sprayed with oil, season with salt and place on a baking sheet. Bake in an oven set to 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 149 degrees Celsius for 35 minutes. For the air fryer, same prep, but make sure to preheat the air fryer for 5 minutes at 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 163 degrees Celsius. Spray the inside to avoid the beets from sticking. For best results, cook the beets for a total of 12 minutes and toss them every 4 to 5 minutes. One quick update here in the middle of our beet chip testing. Chips were getting stuck underneath that basket area, so I just shoved some tin foil around it. I'm gonna see if that actually helps. Makes it better, makes it worse, I don't know. Let's find out. We got some time to kill here, but we're cooking beets and we're cooking beets. So let's talk about girth. This is the exact thickness that you want. And now you're probably thinking, it doesn't mean anything to me. I can't tell how big that is. It's this big. It's the width of a nickel. Well, that's one way to aggressively explain the preparation of a vegetable, but if it's all right with you, I'd like to move on to the finished product. Once cooked, allow the chips to cool on a wire rack for about 10 minutes. As the chips cool, they will continue to crisp up. Now, let's taste the 4 different methods we discussed in the beginning of the video to determine which beet chip has beaten the other beet. Alright guys, so it's time to finally decide which method is the superior method. Over here we have oven baked, over here we have air fried. Now, the ones closest to the camera here are the ones that were not put in the Instant Pot. So these are uncooked but fried or baked, depending on how you look at it. These were both put in the Instant Pot. This is the one that went in the oven, this is the one that went in the air fryer. Let's start with the one that went in the oven and was put in the Instant Pot prior to going into the oven. We'll call these cooked and oven baked. Soft and terrible. You can tell, I really didn't have to eat it to tell you, but they just didn't crisp up in the oven. I'm not sure why exactly. This one's a little bit crispy, but there's no crunch. The flavor's fine, but it's not a beet chip. Let's try this one. Significantly better. More crunchy, better in size. The flavor's really good. That's a no-brainer. So don't waste your time putting your beets in the Instant Pot if you're going to put them in the oven. But now, if you have an air fryer, is it worth using? Same thing. They're not crispy. The flavor's fine, but they're soft and just kind of not a chip. Not what I would be excited about if someone said, would you like a beet chip? These, however, are the ones that we didn't put in the Instant Pot and went straight into the air fryer. All right, so do not waste your time cooking the beets in the Instant Pot before baking them. It is a waste of time. The chip ends up being quite gross. It's pretty close, honestly. The oven baked and the air fried, but you can see it in the color. The air fry one has got more color to it, and it has more flavor as well. The one in the oven dried out a little bit more, which is nice because they're all really uniform and really crispy, which is good. But the ones in the air fryer, they're also crispy. Not as crispy, but they are crispy. But they maintain more color and more flavor. So, long story short, if you're going to make beets and you have an air fryer, don't put them in an Instant Pot first, don't bake them first, don't cook them first. All you have to do is peel them with a peeler, slice them with a Mandoline so they're about the thickness of a nickel. Preheat the air fryer, that's very important. You absolutely have to preheat the air fryer because if you don't, then you're not going to have a uniform heat distribution throughout the cooking process. So preheat at 325 for 5 minutes, spray it with oil. Avocado oil is my favorite, but you can use olive oil. Anything in a spray is going to coat it better for both the chip and the actual surface of the air fryer. Very good. All right, I've rambled on long enough. Guys, if you like this video or you found it useful, please give me a thumbs up. Click the thumbs up button. Leave a comment if that's something that you're into, and I will see you in the next one. As always, keep busy, stay healthy, be happy. There are many methods on how to make a beet chip, but which one of these methods is the best? Well, today we're going to find out.